This video is totally out of the blue, unplanned. I was hoping to have something a little more exciting for you, or even a Trans Am video, but the Tahoe decided it needed to give you guys some more content. So today we're going to be replacing the water pump. Yeah, so that last video I put out on this thing when we did the front brakes, a lot of you guys liked that video, and a lot of you guys liked the video on the Trans Am, which has only been up for half the time, and it already has, I think, over 1,000 likes, and it's closing in on the Tahoe. So if I waited a few more days, there is a good possibility the Trans Am video would have got more likes than the Tahoe video. And technically, you guys are supposed to be getting a Trans Am video. So if that happens, I apologize for not bringing you a Trans Am video, but Tahiti here decided she needed to steal the show and give you guys a little bonus video. So basically, I went to go take it out the other day. I've been driving the Camaro every day. I actually was supposed to be going to a track rental tomorrow with it. It got rained out. The weather's been just absolute dog shit for the last 3 days. I haven't been able to clean this thing up and do the detail video and the winter prep, like with the waxing and all that stuff. Give you guys an update on the headlights, all the badges, the wheels, basically all the stuff I did in the video at the top of the screen. So I basically been working on the Camaro to get it ready for the track. I finally go to take this thing out. I actually took it back up to a junkyard. I brought it back up to Harry's Hazleton. 5-hour round trip. Didn't make a video on it just because I was picking up a hood for my friend Subaru, and I did glance through the Tahoes and stuff. There was nothing new there. It was basically all junk. Stuff was basically stripped out, nothing interesting, so I didn't even bother making a video. Regardless, the Tahoe made it no problem. It crossed over 235,000 miles along the way, and lo and behold, when I came back, I parked it. Then after doing the work on the Camaro, I wanted to take this thing out yesterday. I go to back it out, and there is a giant puddle under it. I crawl underneath, and I just see coolant basically coming down the front of the engine, and I could see it coming out of the weep hole on the water pump. So I don't know if it's luck or what the hell it is, but I managed to make it back without a problem, and the water pump went literally in the driveway at home. So that was kind of good, and I'm kind of happy about it because I've been eyeing this thing ever since I got it and been doing the oil changes, because water pumps are a common problem on these, especially with a lot of miles. It's not a hard job to do, but it is one of those things, to me, that'll leave you stranded or screwed. A water pump, a fuel pump, crank sensor, stuff like that, that just cocks out and leaves you dead in the water. Those are kind of the big things you want to keep your eye on and make sure you replace. So today we are going to be putting a new water pump in Tahiti. I went down to the local parts store. This isn't AutoZone. This is a mom and pop shop. GTS Island Auto Parts over here in Staten Island, New York. Great guys over there. If you are local, I definitely recommend hitting them up instead of the big guys like AutoZone, Pep Boys, all of those places. They got me this Gates water pump with the thermostat and housing built in, so we don't need to mess with that. And I also picked up the pre-mixed Dex Cool. No, I don't buy the 100% stuff. I'm too lazy. I know it's a lot cheaper. I could get 100% coolant, get some water, mix it 50-50. I'm too lazy to go to a grocery store and find some distilled water, mix it like a scientist, pour it in there. For me, I'd rather just grab it off the shelf, pour it in, and be done with it. But I do know it is a lot cheaper, and one day maybe I'll have the patience to do it or pre-mix some stuff to have in stock around here. But for today, we're just going to be using the pre-mixed half water, kind of a rip-off stuff. But once again, the water pumps on these are actually really easy to do. I never actually did one on one of these SUVs. I've done them on Savannah's express vans where the engine is basically in the cab. Same exact thing. This is probably going to be a little bit easier because everything's right out front here. You don't have to lean in as much. But basically, yeah, one of the easier water pumps you could definitely do out there. So basically, we're going to pull the airbox off. There are some clips holding the shroud in. I'm going to pop that off. We'll remove the belt, and then we're going to be using this special tool over here so we can remove the clutch fan. So the hardest part of this job you're going to face is probably going to be removing the clutch fan. I definitely recommend renting one of these tools from AutoZone is going to make the job a hell of a lot easier. If you have an air chisel, you can also just kind of come in here and air chisel the edge of the nut, and you should be able to get it to start spinning. Being I have the tool, I'm going to go grab the air chisel. We're going to just chisel right onto that, and it should break loose. I never actually had the clutch fan off this thing yet. Super, super easy when you have the right tool. And I know a lot of you guys, when I made a post on the community tab showing that the water pump went out, I think one of you guys, or a few of you commented, oh, I should do the E-fan conversion while I'm in here. As much as I'd love to do that, I'm not really set up for that right now. I have to order the harness. I decided I'm just going to shell out the money, buy a pre-made harness. I don't feel like dealing with relays and running my own wiring. I'd rather have like an OEM looking plug and play kind of deal. So I don't have that. You know, I'd have to pull the bottom shroud off here. On that actually already looks like it's loose. I guess it just sits in there, huh? Wow, it does. Okay. All right, maybe it would have been easier than I thought to do the electric fan, but still, yeah, it's a little bit of work to get them wired up, and I still have to get the harness. But yeah, with the fan off here, we're just gonna pull the belt off, and it's really just the hoses, and it should come right out. All right, that's our nice new belt we put on not too long ago. Now to catch all of the coolant with all of the skid plates connected. Should be fun, because it's probably gonna go everywhere, and the only thing I have to catch it is this little cap box. Pull the top hose off. I was gonna get some new hoses while I was at it, but they look fine, so I was just like, forget it, and I cheaped out. And some of you mentioned when I did the fan that the what was it, the air box was rubbing. This is just a very minor mark where it like rubbed the printing off the hose. This isn't, you could barely even feel this with your finger, you know. You can see it's not actually rubbed through. It's just like a clean spot where the air box sits. All right, well, it definitely didn't lose a lot of coolant, because it's right at the top of the water pump. So the radiator is probably still mostly full, which means I am gonna make one hell of a mess, and I don't think my cat dookie box is gonna be enough to catch it all. You know what? I'm going for it. I threw the cat box under there. Whatever, man. I could just mop it up later. Ooh, this is gonna be messy. All right, here we go. No plan here. I'm just, you know, it's gonna go on the floor. It's going on the floor. Ooh! How much am I catching? Oh, that's not a lot. You guys can't even see. Oh, that's not good. I mean, the good thing about the painted floor, even though it's just like patio paint, it's somewhat sealed, so it's easy to like clean stuff like this up. But I'm just gonna pull this upper hose out of the way here, so the whole radiator isn't gonna drain. But basically we're gonna lose when the water pump comes up. Basically anything up to this height is gonna come out of the block. Luckily this is kind of pitched back, so maybe we won't lose that much, but I highly doubt that. You know, a cam swap wouldn't be very difficult on this thing. I'm used to the cars like the Camaro where everything is kind of crunched in there, and you gotta take the whole front of the car off. It looks like you could just probably pull the radiator out and you might be able to get the cam out. All right, we got our heater hoses now. And Well, let me get this off first. And then the pump is just held in place with 6 10mm headed bolts. But yeah, it's literally just the 2 heater hoses and that's it. Zip the 10s out and the pump is off. Here she comes. Ooh, that is a lot more than I was counting on. Oh, the floor is destroyed. Okay, that's it. Now 10mm. I think I already have one somewhere here. And there's not much left in there. Okay, we're out. So the beauty of these LS motors, the gaskets are just metal and they have these O-rings on them. So it is extremely easy to clean this stuff up. I'm just gonna brake clean this. It looks like the timing cover. I mean, this thing has 235,000 miles on it. There's gonna be gunk on it. Timing cover could probably use a gasket. But since I did the pan, the whole front, like bottom of the pan is dry. So I think whatever was leaking, the gunk plugged it up at this point. But yeah, we'll address that when it comes cam time. What I love getting are these Scotch-Brite pads. You get them from Dollar Tree. They come in like a pack of 6 or whatever. They're literally $1 because they're great for like cleaning gasket surfaces, especially aluminum. I use them for head gaskets or oil pan gaskets, especially when you're dealing with like an aluminum block. But you know, even for stuff like this, when there's not actual, you know, gasket residue on there because it's a seal, it's a rubber seal, it's still nice to just kind of clean up the area. And I don't like that. That's a little, that's kind of crusty. It's like rough from like corrosion. Let me see if I have a cookie disc or something to try to, you can hear that. Smooth, rough. All right, so the block is nice and clean, nice and smooth. I'm pretty happy with that. We got our new Gates pump here. Once again, this comes with the thermostat housing and thermostat pre-installed. I am going to check these once I have this thing on the engines to make sure they're not loose. But looking at our old one, it seems to be an exact match. I highly doubt this is the original. I'm not going to even say that this is the original because I find that to be extremely unlikely. Given the mileage, I see these go out well under 100,000. But yeah, there is our old pump. I don't know, it looks like there's like a W or something there. I don't know what brand that is. We have our new metal gaskets, and the way I install this, I'll just put the gaskets, lay them on top, slip a couple of the bolts in on both sides, and just hold it straight and put it up against the block, and then hand tighten both screws. That way the gaskets are aligned, and then I'll just, you know, evenly tighten them down. The heater hoses are getting in the way. All right, there we go. I'm sure there's a torque spec somewhere for this. I sure as hell don't know what it is. And I've never actually used it. I just snug them down. All right, we're just gonna work backwards here. Let's get our heater hoses back on. Lower hose. And this bottom, while I'm in here, this bottom clip is, it's being a pain in the ass. Ow! How many of you know the pain I just felt? This thing's being a little... It's being a little... It's being something little. So I'm not going to put it back on. I got a... Just put one of these little wormy boys on there. I think this is the right size. I don't freaking know. All right. Whoop. I like to reuse these clamps whenever I can. Like when you're dealing with the stock stuff, because they kind of leave an indent on the hose. Yeah, but like I like to reuse them on these because you could get them right where they used to be, like in the exact indentation they left on the line. You can see with the bottom one now I have the worm clamp there. I'm hoping this isn't going to be a problem. That's as tight as it'll go. You can see there's like an indent on the sides, but I mean, aside from replacing the hose, that's all I can do for right now. So hopefully that's going to be all right. All our hoses are on. Let's pop the fan on. I guess it's just the shroud then. I'm going to just dry some of that out down there. And yeah, we'll fill it up and see if the leak's gone. That's tight. I absolutely love this friggin' thing. Funnel's the best. You just pop it on here, fill it up as much as you want. All right, the GoPro keeps freaking out. It keeps freezing and turning off. It says repairing file. I don't know what the hell it's doing. Basically, we got it finished filling up. The thing with these, normally when you're dealing with a radiator, you can just throw this funnel on top and just fill the whole thing up as much as you want. Because you're filling the radiator. But with this, I forgot you got to watch because the level is only supposed to be down here. So I just added it till it's pretty much at the full line. I'm going to start it up now. I just got to go crack the door. And we'll just let it run. Back it up a little and make sure there are no leaks. All right, well, it appears I backed too far against the door. So I cannot open it. So I have to start it up, roll it forward a foot, then open the door. I was not kidding about the mess. Ooh. Well, looks like she sucked that up. Well, we're getting some heat out of it. It's warm. We're not really running hot. Something's making noise. I don't know what the hell that is. I think it's the belt. Yeah, like I said, the belt, once you get coolant on it, there's a very slim chance you're going to bring it back. I have a new belt anyway, but I think I'm just going to let it run. Level looks good. The noise stopped, so maybe we did save the belt. I don't know. I hope I didn't just jinx myself. I don't see any drips. Back there, the AC was just on. That's what that is. But everything else seems all right. Slowly coming up to temp. All right, so this thing's taking a while to come up to temp. I don't know if the thermostat's stuck open. The heat's working fine, which makes me think maybe it is for some reason. I'm basically just gonna cap it, go home, eat, and then I gotta come back and clean up this mess anyway. So I'll give you guys an update when I come back. But yeah, so far we got no leaks. Heat is working. It's just taking a little time to get up to temperature. But now that it's capped, I'm going to drive it. Hopefully it gets up where it needs to be. We're good though. No leaks. Yeah, so I've just been driving for a couple of minutes now. The temp came right up, pretty much right when I capped it. Didn't even go over 210. It stopped right below it. So temperature looks good. Once I get back to the garage, I'm just going to double check the level. But our pump looks good. The hoses and everything down there look dry. Coolant level's great. So Tahiti has a new water pump. Well, here's the aftermath of that. At least the workbench started sucking some of it up. Maybe let's just leave it. I come in tomorrow, the workbench is going to be just filled with coolant up to the top. Yeah, not a hard job. I'm going to put a link, if I can find this water pump complete with thermostat and everything, down in the description. Like I said, I got that from my local parts house. I think there's a part number right here. 45006. A little update on the Trans Am while I have you guys here. I actually pulled this thing out earlier today. Or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Man, I really don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I pulled it out and I got the Holley mounts in. So I put in the Holley LT clamshells. I call these clamshells, by the way. I saw some people commenting saying that the clamshell bolts to the block or something. This is technically the mount, but I refer to the entire like housing that holds the rubber, the clamshell. So when I say clamshell, I'm talking about the mount itself. But anyway, yeah, the LT style clamshell mount from Holley, meant for a 4th gen that wants to, or someone who has a 4th gen that wants to put an LT into a 4th gen. These mounts actually fit really, really well. I got rid of the dirty dingle plates, and the reason why the engine was kind of cocked was because when these went in, there's an offset. So like when the mount goes in, there's a thick part of the mount that hangs over, and one side faces like towards the front of the engine, the other side faces the back of that offset. So that kind of twisted it back where it was straight. So the mounts are definitely good as far as the engine is concerned. I'm gonna have to modify this a little bit. I don't want to get too far into this. I'm gonna save it for an episode, but basically, next video, we're gonna pull this thing. I'm tripping over the water pump. Next video, we're gonna pull this thing out. I think we're going to bolt the 6L80 to it, and if my ceiling allows, hopefully with the load leveler, I'm gonna try just tipping the whole thing into the bay, because I do not feel like wrestling the 6L80. And I was gonna strip it down to mess with the case. It's gonna be easier right now just to bolt it up and try to drop the whole thing as an assembly in. That way I can see where the tail shaft's gonna fall, see if I have to clearance anything. And then once I basically have everything lined up, I'm gonna break the transmission down, just do a quick rebuild on it. And from there, I already have the wiring in the works. I'm working with a company for the harness, so that's coming along. The problem is I work, like I have a day job. I wish I could just do this all the time. Unfortunately, as of yet, I can't. And I know you guys like the content regardless, but I really wish I had a lot more time to work on this. I could knock this thing out so much faster. I'm actually considering, because the repair we just did on the Tahoe, I drive that thing so much, it's my main daily. And I know it needs some stuff. The transfer case just recently started leaking out the tail shaft. It's just a seal, but at the same time, the differential is making some questionable noises, and the pinion seal is leaking again. So there might be playing that pinion bearing. The diff just might need all new bearings rebuilt. So I'm tossing up the idea of picking up like a cheap 4-cylinder beater car, and you know, knowing me, it's probably going to turn into like another freaking project car, which I really don't need at the moment. But I'm kind of tossing that idea up. That way I could kind of do everything the Tahoe needs. You know, we want to do the headliner, I want to do the fan conversion. And then I have big plans for that thing. You guys love the Tahoe. So I'm basically going to redo the entire thing. Wheels, everything I did with the badges, the body, the wheels. I have like so much stuff planned for it. And to do all that, if the Trans Am isn't going to be running soon enough, you know, I might just pick up a little beater. Plus, it's not going to be a bad thing to have a little 4-cylinder that's going to save me some gas. And basically, I'll still drive the Tahoe every day, but maybe like every other day. So I'll split between the 4-cylinder and the Tahoe, and those will be my 2 dailies. That way, the Tahoe's not going to rack up as much mileage as quickly. Essentially, it'll only be putting on half the mileage it normally would. And when I do want to do a repair to it, I can. And the reason why I don't drive the Tahoe, well, I've been driving the Camaro, I mean, the last few days daily, is because mostly the rain. I have summer tires on it all the time. It's not that great in the rain. Once it gets colder out, I really don't want that car on the street. The salt just eats these cars away. So I keep it in the garage when there's salt on the road. We get a good rain, washes it away, I take it out. So, and plus, I don't like to park that car on the street in the city. People will bump into it. So I daily it, but only when I'm around the area, like in the garage. Once I go out to the city, or I'm not going to work, that's when I don't like to take the Camaro and I drive the Tahoe. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that idea. But yeah, there's a good chance I'm going to grab some kind of a beater, something fun, something none of you would probably expect. I already have a car in my head. I don't want to give anything away because I don't even know if I'm going to get it yet. But yeah, there's that to come. But as always, you guys love these Tahoe videos, so don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I hope it helps some of you out who need to do a water pump on yours. Once again, super, super simple. Really, the only special tool you need is the fan clutch tool, which you can easily rent from AutoZone, and even that, you could probably get it off with an adjustable and a hammer. But that tool just makes it so much easier. I'm going to link that down below, once again, with the parts I used. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to be back right away with another Tahoe video. We're going to do the winter prep, clean it up. I want to give you guys an update on all the stuff I did to it recently, the headlights, the badges, how they're holding up after, I think it's close to a year now, if not past a year. And that video has started grabbing traction again. I think it's at like 700,000 views. And I'm noticing more comments on it recently, so I think YouTube's starting to push it. So I definitely want to give you guys an update on how those parts held up and what exactly I'm planning to change on it. But for now, let's go do it for this one. See you in a few days.